Welcome to First Stroke to the PGA, the unqualified, overly optimistic, and mildly delusional quest to go from my first golf swing ever to the Pro Tour. I'm recording every chunk, shank, lost ball, and occasional miracle shot along the way. If you like big dreams, bad decisions, and watching someone learn the hard way, grab a cart and ride along. Let's tee it up. Because how hard could this possibly be? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to First Stroke to the PGA. You may have noticed that there was not an episode last week. After going through and kind of trying to figure out the future of what I'm trying to do with this podcast and trying to keep the quality of the content as high as I possibly can, I've decided, at least for the time being, I'm going to shift to bi-weekly episodes. And I think this is going to allow me to produce a little bit better content versus trying to feel like I'm forcing something every single week. And full transparency, I've got a younger son and we've got stuff that we're doing over the weekends, and I'm finding it hard to sit down for an hour, 2 hours um, every week just to record and edit and get everything together. So until I can get out on the course and start playing at least a little bit more regularly, I'm going to shift to every other week. And I think that's going to help with keeping the content fresh, making sure everything is as high quality as I can make it. And I think that's going to see some positive progress, I guess would be the word that I'm looking for. So, apologies for not kind of doing this last week, but we just got really busy and I didn't have the time to dedicate to sit down and record and put everything together. And upon sitting down today to record, um, found out that I've deleted all my files. So my intro, my outro, the scripts, everything I had for the intro and outro is just gone. I can't seem to find it anywhere in my file explorer, my recycling bin, or anything like that. So I don't really know what to do, but I'm gonna kind of mess around with it. So the intro and the outro, if I can't find them, it's probably gonna be significantly different. So I know the podcast is still relatively new, but this could be a fresh coat of paint with putting some intro music together, the intro itself, and things like that, just to make sure that if I'm redoing everything, that at least I'm making it higher quality than what it was the first time around. If you've listened to earlier iterations of this podcast, you're going to hear it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very much a beginner when it comes to this realm, and it's hard. I mean, trying to get everything to time up and be perfect every single time, it's really, really difficult. So these people that are doing a show a week or multiple podcasts within whatever it is that they're doing, my hat goes off to you because stuff's hard, man. Um, and I respect the time and the effort that goes into doing this every single week. So, just still a learning game on this side of it. Um, I'm caught up. I've got one range audio from the last 2 weeks. Life has just been pretty busy the last couple weeks as we go into the end of June into early July. So, a little bit of a recap of my month of June before I played the range audio. It was good. There were a couple weeks there where I was going to the range twice a week, and it was it was good. The progress that I'm seeing in my swing and my form and everything seems to be taking a step in the right direction, which is very, very positive for what I'm trying to do in this journey of playing golf and learning how to play and going out and just doing it. My swing is getting better. I am pretty consistently, almost always getting contact with my drivers. With my woods now are getting better, and then my irons and hybrid are all starting to get solid. I'm not hitting it as far as I want to, but I think if I can hit it straight, that's a big win for whenever I do get out on the course. And I believe it was the last episode I mentioned that we were planning to go play golf that Friday afternoon. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. That was this last Friday, June 27th, and it didn't happen. I had to get some work done on my car. Ended up shooting almost the majority of the day. So by the time I got out and got everything done, the person that I was going to go with was also preoccupied with some issues. So it just didn't work out. And as bummed out as I was in the moment, I was okay. I've had a couple of my friends tell me to just go out there and play the course by myself, and I'm very hesitant to do so because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going, what I'm trying to do in terms of like the flow of the course, right? So if I'm going there and playing 9 holes or full 18, I want to make sure that I'm following the quote unquote rules of the course. And I don't want to get paired up with a stranger, especially if it's my first time. If I'm going to go and get paired with somebody, or if I'm going to go and be in a situation where I'm having to be with somebody else, then I don't want to get paired up with a stranger. So, my buddy Ozzy and I have talked about what we're going to do and how we're going to get this thing to work. And we're planning on going this coming Friday or Thursday, July 3rd. The office, I believe, will be shutting down a little bit early, so we might be able to get out there and play something early afternoon on Thursday. But um, things have kind of just gotten crazy whenever we're trying to plan to go play golf. So I'm not going to hold out a ton of hope at this point in time, just because life happens and things get in the way. So um, other than that, I mean, everything I've done so far, I've taken positive steps forward in my golf swing. My form, I think, is all better, and it may be a small thing, but for me, the biggest thing that I've noticed when I get up and like when I'm taking my swing is that my left leg is stays planted, which it wasn't doing that before. So if you've seen a baseball player, how they swing and how they turn their hips and their lead foot, in this case my left foot, would pivot a little bit as I'm taking my swing. So um, that's started to go away, which is good. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to go away because it was very annoying trying to swing, and my balance would get thrown off because of the way that my hips are turning because of the way I'm used to swinging. So um, that's a really, really positive thing. That's the most noticeable thing that I've come across from my first swing to where I'm at now. And I'm stoked. I mean, I'm making solid connection with the ball, which wasn't always an issue. It's never really been an issue making solid contact, but um, the consistency in which I was doing it was where I struggled. So I'd top it once, hit it great, get underneath it, hit the top of it again, hit it good, and then rinse and repeat in however many different variations of that you can do. And I've I'm almost always getting solid connection to some degree. Now, the struggle point now is controlling where I'm going with the ball because I get it and I'm getting in my head, I think, a little too much with it, and I'm focusing too much on the swing and not necessarily the follow through. I'm trying to make sure I'm getting a good swing to hit the ball and hit it hard. So I'm not letting the club fall all of the time. I'm trying, but I start thinking about it. I'm like, man, if I just swing hard, this thing's gonna go farther, right? Logically, if I swing harder, this should go further. Was it has been my thought process, and I'm trying to get it out, and it's not working. So I have to figure out how to turn that part of the brain off when I'm going into my backswing, because I know if I turn that part off in the moment and I just focus on dropping the club and following through, I hit the ball further and I hit the ball straight. When I think about it and I'm trying to hit the ball and I'm thinking about making good contact, I notice that I'm thinking about the club as it comes down, and I'm putting swing and oomph into the swing, and it's not working. So I love this part of it because I'm able to go through and say, these are the clear steps I've taken, and this is how I've gotten better. And on the other side, here's what I've done. Here are the kind of the tendencies I'm noticing in my swing, and here are the things that I need to improve on, which are all positive things, right? I'm not looking at it as a negative or something that I'm doing wrong. I'm looking at it from an aspect of, this is what I need to do to improve. And I've said it in almost every episode, or hinted at it, or the whole point is to get better. I've had a couple of my buddies that, have reached out to ask to go play golf, but they want to drink. They want to get not drunk, but they want to drink on the course. They want to have fun, and not a serious endeavor. And I'm not saying I need to go out there like it's the PGA. That's not what I'm saying. But I do want to take it with a hint or sense of seriousness, because it is something that I'm actively trying to get better at. And to me, if I'm drinking or if I'm doing things like that where it's not serious, then I feel like I'm not going to get the most out of the experience. And especially if it's going to be my first couple times, I want to soak up the information that I'm getting when I go out onto the course. Obviously, the goal is still to have fun. The goal is to learn where I can and just get out there and experience what it's like. But for my personality and my brain, if I'm not doing something from a competitive standpoint and trying to be the best version of myself out on the course or on the baseball field or football, whatever, if I'm not going out there, there's a part of my brain that just doesn't turn off. And it's that level of competition that I need to be as good as I can be. And I'm putting 100% effort in at 100% of the time. And even if I'm not competitive with the people that I'm playing with, I'm beating my own personal goals. So um, that'll be kind of the next episode, is kind of recapping what we're going through. So this episode is probably going to be a little bit shorter because there's not a ton of range audio. And full transparency, there hasn't been a lot going on in terms of golf um, on this side of the fence. So rather than filling it with, I would say, not needless content, but just content that isn't relevant to the situation, I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter. I'm going to do the range audio, and then that'll be it. I mean, we're sitting at just shy of 13 minutes now, so I don't see the necessity to keep things long for the sake of being long. I think that if we can keep it short and concise and get the relevant information from this journey across, that's been the goal of my logging of these adventures or the journey since I started. So um, I think that's why there's such a wide variance on the times, because I've had episodes as short as under 30 minutes, and then I've had one, my last episode was over an hour long. So if there's any feedback, any positive, negative things to help make this podcast better, let me know. I want to make sure that if there's things for me to do that can help make this content better, I'm all about it. I think at some point on the YouTube channel for this channel, I'm going to start posting some videos of me hitting and doing just other things, review of the golf shoes that I just got, or going through my golf bag. And you see all the pros do it, and I think it'd be kind of cool to do the budget version of what the pros are getting. So I'm open to ideas. I'm open to collaboration. If you guys have any ideas, throw it down in the comments. Let me know. I'm happy to adjust and make this thing a community driven channel. So without further ado, here's the range audio. Today is June 18th, and this is going to be a range audio for my visit to the range yesterday. I don't think it's going to take too terribly long because it wasn't a great day, but it wasn't a bad day either. So it was really more just refining my stance and getting more comfortable in not having a baseball swing versus a golf swing. And I'm making progress in that, in the way that my left foot is starting to stay planted whenever I'm swinging. Whereas before, it wasn't as planted, and as I would hit the ball, my lower body was reacting more as like a baseball swing over a golf swing. So like my body was a little bit more fluid, which is sometimes a good thing if that's what you wanted to do, but it doesn't seem to be as beneficial if I'm as a golf swing over a baseball swing. So yeah, I think that it went well. I've been getting more and more confident in the swing, and shockingly enough, I'm losing a little bit of confidence with my 7-iron, and I'm starting to gain confidence with my 6 and 5 irons, and then my woods, I'm a little still, the 3 and the 5 wood, I'm a little iffy on still when it's not on the tee. But with the hybrid, I actually had some really solid contact with it the last yesterday when I went, and that's something I haven't really had before. It wasn't great contact by any means, but it was better, and that's what I'm looking for. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish, and that's what I'm trying to achieve, I guess, is I just want to get more confident in all of my clubs, so that way when I get out onto the course and play around a golf, then I've got a base level of confidence with every club that I'm swinging. I do have it on the books that I'm going to be going on June 27th. We're going to be going to Sunflower Hills Golf Course, which is the driving range that we've been going to the last month or two. So we're just going to kind of go there and play some golf, and I'm really, really excited to see what it looks like out on the course versus just at the driving range, because I've seen plenty of people saying, like, you know, you can play great at you can hit the ball really well or really badly at the range, and then do the complete opposite on the course. So my goal for the range is when we go to the golf course, is to just have solid contact. That's all I want. I just want to go out there and try to do well for somebody who's going out there for the first time. I think the extra time at the golf or at the driving range is going to be helpful, because I'm already going to have my swing kind of down. I already have an understanding of what I'm supposed to be doing. The challenging part, I think, initially is going to be trying to figure out what club I need to use for every situation. And I'm not going to be going by myself. I'm going to be going with my buddy Ozzy. So the goal is I'm going to lean on him a lot to try to help make sure that I'm using the correct club for whatever the situation may be. I don't have a sand wedge, so hopefully there's no sand wedges or sand, beaches where otherwise I might be kind of up a creek. But that's the only thing I'm a little concerned about. I've got a pitching wedge, so I think I'll be okay, but I guess time will tell. And after this first round of golf, it'll kind of show me truly where the holes in my game are and what I need to improve on. So
because at the driving range, I feel like there's only so much that you can do on any given day, right? When we went yesterday, it had just rained before we got there, and it was gorgeous when we got there. So in terms of like conditions, like it was slightly cool, slightly breezy, and it was gorgeous out. The ground was wet, so with my 7-iron, I couldn't get underneath the ball. I don't know why, but with the 7-iron, I was just topping it almost every time I hit it. With my 9-iron, I got a couple good swings out, but kind of the same thing. And then the 6 and the 5 irons that I swung, I was getting pretty good contact on. The hybrid, it was a mixed bag. I think I did 4 or 5 balls, and on all of them, they were kind of iffy. They were better contacts than I had gotten before, but they were still kind of iffy. The 3 and the 5 wood, I think those are going to be ones I'm going to use strictly for like the tee when a driver's not necessary. Maybe that's not right. Maybe there will be a situation where I need to use it, but I don't have the confidence in the ability to drive the ball without it being on a tee with my wood, my 3 and my 5 wood. So that's kind of my thought process on everything but the driver. The driver this time around, I had, I think, 6 balls that I hit with the driver, and I did all right. I had a couple pieces where the contact that I had was some of the best I've had on the driver. I had one carry for over 200 yards, so that's a really big positive for me, and it was dead on, it was dead straight, and that's a really, really positive thing for me. Now, out of the other 5 balls that I hit, 2 of them, so half of the balls, I had solid contact on, but they sliced left or right. And then the other 3, it was a line drive, didn't go really far, didn't get really solid contact on it, and then the last one I hit, I topped it, and it went probably 15 yards, 15, maybe 20 yards with roll, but it wasn't a really good hit. And for me, it's not discouraging, but it's frustrating. It brings me back down from the slight high that I had for how I was performing, and it's not a bad thing. I know there's going to be ups and downs with this whole thing, and it was just frustrating, I guess. It really kind of, it made me mad because I knew as soon as I hit the ball that it was going to be a crappy shot, and it was. And I really, like, I'm attributing it, and maybe this is just me passing the blame so I don't feel as bad, but I was adjusting my stance a little bit, so my left foot was more planted, and it was different. It felt different enough that I think it threw off not my focus, but it threw off my ability to flow. But my form was better. I had Ozzy critique me and kind of give me like he's like, make sure whenever I'm going through the driver that the ball is kind of aligned with the middle part of my left foot, like where my arch is, and to the maybe as far back as where my heel is. And that's where the ball should be in my stance. So when I go to hit it, it's more towards the front of my stance than the middle or the back, which it felt weird doing it that way, and I think that's why my contact wasn't as good. But the one that I got a hold of, so there's positivity in everything that I'm looking at with it. So I can't be mad. I can't be mad at the way I struck the ball, because I think I did really well, all things considered. So that's the takeaway that I'm getting from it. The positive is that my stance, I think, is getting better. I started off it was really more of a baseball stance. My knees were bent more like how it was in my baseball stance, and it caused it to be, maybe I was too low to the ground. Now I have a slight flex in my knee, but it's not bent as much as it was. So, little positives. My body, my chest area to my stomach is a little bit more firm's not the right word, but it's more stable. Whereas with how it was before, it was almost a full body motion to take the ball into my backswing, or I'm sorry, take the club into my backswing. I'm getting better at letting the club drop versus trying to force it down, and I'm not pivoting as much as like a baseball swing would, or in the same way. I'm still trying to figure some of it out in terms of my swing and making it consistent, but I think I'm getting a heck of a lot better at just my stance and my swing in general, which is really positive for me, because I can feel the difference in the way that I'm swinging the ball. Not the ball. The way I'm swinging the club over how I was swinging it when I first started. The next time I go by myself, I think I'm going to record myself again, and I'm going to really kind of check and see where my swing was at compared to where I'm at now, because I think I've got improvement. I guess I could be wrong, but I think it's improved. But I'm really, really happy with the way that things are going so far, and I'm really, really happy that I'm able to go out, and I'm feeling the improvements or the differences in the way my swing is, the way I'm hitting the ball. I'm making solid contact on all the clubs at some point in time, which is a huge positive for me, because it's building the confidence that I have to go out and feel like I can at least do decent by these standards that I'm setting for myself internally, because I'm really expecting to go out there and shoot, 80. Like, go out there and just be freaking phenomenal right out of the gate. And my head knows that the likelihood of that actually happening is not that high, but my heart's like, you can do it. You can be the best that's ever swung a golf club if you just go out there and do it. And I understand that my head understands, my brain is like, no, Kyle, that's not what's going to happen. You're going to go out there and you're going to be crappy for the first 20 years that you do this. But the piece of me that is saying, hey, my heart's like, you feel good, man. You might be able to go out there and shock the world, and you're going to have somebody there from the PGA that's going to be like, listen, you're a prodigy. And my heart's like really hyping me up right now, making me think I'm going to be like some gift to golf, and I understand that's not the case. But my heart's really like, man, you're going to go out there and you're going to be phenomenal. You're going to do it. You're going to be the greatest person on the golf course, and you're just going to blow it out the water. So we'll see which one was right on June 27th, whenever I get on the course. And I'm going to record some audio while I'm out on the course, just to give that real life feedback and real life highs and probably lows. More than likely, it's probably all going to be lows. Like, oh man, I lost a ball, lost another one. It's my fourth one I've lost. I'm out of balls. We're done playing because I don't have any more golf balls. I went through 77. Yeah. So we'll see. But that's going to do it for the range audio. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there while I had them fresh in my memory, and let everybody know that the golf course, the first time out on the golf course is coming. It's booked, it's paid for, and I'm I'm ready. I'm ready to go out there and see what I can do. So this week's episode won't have it, but this following Tuesday's episode on the, what is it, the 30th? This next episode next week, we'll have the audio from my first time at the golf course. So thanks, everybody.
And that's the range audio from June 18th. Very happy with the way that the swing is starting to progress and some of the refining that I've done since I started doing this. And I'm really, really happy with the progress that I've made so far. Um, Bummed I haven't gotten the chance to get out on the course yet, but I know that's going to come in time. And I know that the more opportunity I'm getting to practice at the range without actually having the potential of losing balls or um, making a fool of myself, I can still kind of live in the hope that I'm doing okay. So um, I'm just really happy with kind of the progress I feel like I'm making in my very first swing ever out on the driving range with the intention of getting better to where I'm at now. We're almost 2 months in, and I don't get bored of it. I'm excited to go. Um, I take the feedback that I'm given, good, bad, or indifferent, and I'm learning how to kind of adapt my playing style based on that. If I do something stupid, then the people that I'm with, they're very good about saying, "Hey, don't do that, do this." And it's done in a way that's constructive and positive versus, unfortunately, the way it kind of was playing baseball. In my younger years, in my teenage years, the feedback you would get from your teammates was generally playful, but it was, "You suck, you're doing this, you're stupid, how did you miss that, whatever." And in this environment that I'm in now, learning, I'm getting nothing but positive encouragement on what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to learn how to do. And from Xavier and Ozzy, I'm getting criticism of what I'm doing, but it's in a positive nature where they're saying, "Hey, you're doing this, try this." I've even had strangers, when I've been up there by myself, come up and just kind of say, "Hey, you're doing this, tweak it." And it's very encouraging to see the level of helpfulness that I'm getting from complete strangers. Now I'm sure there's some people that are out on the course watching me swing and they're like, "Oh, look at that new guy. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing." But that's going to be like in anything. There's always going to be the jerks and the guys that think they're better than everybody else. And that's okay. I'm not that concerned about it. So, um, like I said, today's episode was going to be pretty short compared to some of the other ones. I'm shifting to a more of a biweekly model, and I'll get that updated in the show, just so that way I'm not providing false information. So we will be switching over to biweekly episodes, at least for the time being. If I get to a point where I feel like these episodes are coming out and they're just jam packed, and I could alleviate some stress, not stress, but if I'm able to alleviate the content a little bit to spread it out a little bit more to where they're not 2, 3, 4 hour long episodes, then I'll go back to doing weekly. But for the time being, I'm going to start looking at doing biweekly accounts and making sure that things are taken care of. On a positive note to end the episode, I got my first pair of golf shoes. I've been playing with the idea of just going out on the course in a pair of tennis shoes or a pair of something until I get an idea of what I'm doing and put more money into this without actually having gone out onto the course. That being said, I was perusing on Amazon and I was able to find a pair of Adidas, I can't say it, Adidas Tech Response 3.0 golf shoes. I got them on sale. They were $53 and it was next day shipping. So I got them in less than 24 hours and they're sitting in my garage right now. And I'm very, very happy. if it's a point of contention, I did elect to go with the spiked shoes. Don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. I guess I'll find out when I go to the range here this week and get to kind of break them in. But that's really the only thing of note that's happened since last episode. We've gone to the range a couple of times, but there wasn't anything super crazy. Um, I think I'm going to try moving forward doing the podcast instead of splitting it into range audio and kind of office audio. I'm going to try doing a full episode in just an office environment where it's a little bit quieter, it's a little bit more put together, and I can talk about my experiences and take some notes throughout the week and maybe have little snippets of the range audio if I did something I felt was really cool or really bad. Um, that way it's more put together. I want to have some kind of a structure and stuff like that moving forward, just so that way there's some consistency to the show. That way, if people listening have a specific part of the show that they like watching or not watching, like listening to, then they've got the opportunity to skip to the pieces that matter to them. Also, last bit, if there's any need, want, or desire, it's a fun word. If there's any need for me to review the show on Apple TV Plus, it's called Stick. It's got Owen Wilson in it, and it's essentially he plays the role of an ex-golfer, professional golfer who is now kind of leading this prodigy through the U.S. Amateur. I've heard both ways. Is it amateur or amateur? Let me know. Anyway, Squirrel, if you'd like me to review those episodes, I'm more than happy to do it. I personally really like the show, and I'm willing to hop on and have that be a full episode of a season review or an episode by episode review if that's something you guys want to see specifically. So let me know down in the comments below if that's something you'd like to hear. Happy to put it together. So thanks so much for listening to the podcast, and I will see y'all in 2 weeks. That's a wrap on First Stroke to the PGA. If you're into wild misses, humble goals, and questionable club choices, give us a follow and share the show. Got advice, swing tips, or just want to roast my form? I'm all ears. Hit me up. Until next time, aim high, score low, and if no one saw it, it didn't happen. Cheers.